Bienvenidos a Pasos de Éxito con Ana Cristina Martínez. Toda la información que necesitas para ingresar a las mejores universidades de Estados Unidos, siendo mexicano o de alguna otra nacionalidad. Bienvenidos.
Muy buenos días a todos nuestros queridos radioescuchas. Ustedes están sintonizando esta mañana XHGTS. Mi nombre es Ana Cristina Martínez y esto es Pasos de Éxito. Pues esta mañana con muchísimos éxitos de personas que son originarias o oriundas de nuestra comunidad, y es el caso de un jovencito que de hecho yo le tengo mucho cariño, un jovencito sumamente talentoso, un jovencito que creyó en su sueño, se lanzó y bueno, pues están en la segunda temporada en Nat Geo, National Geographic y en Hulu Live, y es la serie de Border Force, y es la segunda temporada. Y bueno, para eso tenemos, sí, esta mañana a mi sobrino, pues aparte una inspiración para todos los que van a escuchar este programa el día de hoy, Eric Basurto. Y bueno, pues Eric Basurto es un jovencito que graduó de United High School, es un jovencito de Laredo, es un jovencito con un sueño más grande de lo que él se imaginaba. Y el día de hoy, pues ya es una realidad. ¿Y por qué compartir una historia así? Pues porque debemos de aprender a confiar en nuestros sueños, debemos de aprender a creérnosla, debemos de aprender a vivir cada momento preparándonos para ese momento. Es justo ese momento va a llegar, y cuando llega tienes que estar preparado. Y por eso la universidad es importante, y por eso las conexiones que se hacen dentro de la universidad, todas las relaciones que tienes con tus profesores, con personas exteriores a las clases, todo lo que ustedes hagan en la universidad va a tener una consecuencia positiva. Y tan es así que por eso esta mañana tenemos en el programa a mi sobrino Eric Basurto, que es uno de los jóvenes más prometedores en el área de todo lo que es la cinematografía en Texas. Y bueno, pues ya esto ya es a nivel nacional, porque ya se está pasando el programa de Border Force en Hulu, que es a nivel pues internacional, y aparte National Geographic, que es una de las redes o de las plataformas más importantes para contar historias, para hablar sobre lo que ocurre en la frontera o lo que puede estar ocurriendo en la selva o en el océano o en simplemente clases de cocina, viajes, sí, pero en este caso es hablando de la frontera. Y nuestra frontera, como nosotros vivimos aquí, se nos hace un tema muy trivial, un tema como que, ay, bueno, pues es lo que hacemos todos los días, pero en realidad es un tema de suma importancia para el resto del mundo, porque nosotros vivimos todos los días lo que es el cruzar el puente, vivimos todos los días la migración, vivimos todos los días las consecuencias de estar entre dos países, y también lo bueno, ¿verdad?, de vivir en la frontera, que es ser bilingües, ser biculturales y ser o tener una relación muy, muy estrecha entre los dos países. Nosotros lo tomamos como algo de todos los días, pero el resto del mundo no. Y el resto del mundo tiene los ojos puestos en un programa como este, que se llama Border Force, donde pueden ver lo que ocurre todos los días en nuestra comunidad. Y me llama la atención porque si ustedes ven el tráiler, el tráiler de la serie, la pueden encontrar en la página de Hulu, ¿sí? O pueden ir a Border Force y ahí van a ver el tráiler, y es bien interesante porque para nosotros que estamos en la frontera, pues es muy normal hacer fila, es muy normal ver a gente sentada en el puente, es muy normal pues ver, ¿verdad?, cuando confiscan algún contrabando, todo eso para nosotros es como que de todos los días, pero para el resto del mundo no. El resto del mundo tiene los ojos puestos en nosotros, de qué forma vivimos, cómo aprendemos, cómo compartimos la frontera entre dos países. Y bueno, pues por eso esta mañana está con nosotros nuestro querido Eric Basurto, que es un orgullo de Laredo, un orgullo de nuestra comunidad y un orgullo de mi familia, porque es mi sobrino. Así que, pues, queridos radioescuchas, quiero que compartamos esta mañana aprendiendo mucho sobre los sueños, aprendiendo mucho sobre la dedicación, la determinación y también aprendiendo mucho sobre cómo se hace un sueño realidad. Y bueno, pues vamos a ir un corte y ahorita vamos a regresar. No se vayan, ustedes están sintonizando XHGTS. Mi nombre es Ana Cristina Martínez y esto es Pasos de Éxito.
Vamos a un corte y regresamos con más de Pasos de Éxito. Bienvenidos a Pasos de Éxito con Ana Cristina Martínez.
Muy buenos días a todos nuestros queridos radioescuchas. Ustedes están sintonizando XHGTS. Mi nombre es Ana Cristina Martínez y esto es Pasos de Éxito. Pues contentísima de esta mañana ustedes estén sintonizando nuestra estación, estén ustedes en casita escuchando la historia de un joven con todo el éxito por delante y hoy en día es una forma de celebrar nuestra comunidad, es una forma de mostrar quiénes somos ante el mundo. La serie se llama Border Force y es una serie producida que está al aire por Hulu y por National Geographic. Y bueno, esta mañana por eso tenemos de invitado, es un invitado para mí muy especial, no nada más porque es mi sobrino, pero porque es un joven con sueños, es un joven que ha llevado su visión de verdaderamente al otro, o sea, al otro nivel. Y el otro nivel es cumplirlo, ejecutarlo y ponerlo en acción. Good morning, Eric. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
Excellent. I'm doing very well, and I'm so glad and I'm so proud that you are here with us at Pasos de Éxito. This is something that not very often we have the opportunity to talk and meet with very young minds like yours. And if you can share, everything that you're doing right now and share with the community of Los Dos Laredos about the project of Border Force. I was telling everybody in our first segment, or when we introduce the program, that this is something that we take for granted because we live here in the border. But, for the rest of the world, we are unique. We are a place where things happen on a daily basis, and you are able to portray this in the show. Talk to us about the show, Eric.
Yeah, so Border Force is a series that follows the southern border between the U.S. and Mexico, and it's really about the Department of Homeland Security, Customs, and Border Protection Agency, and how they operate on the 28 bridges connecting us, the United States, to Mexico. And I didn't realize growing up in Laredo, me thinking it was a small road, that it was just Nuevo Laredo, and that's, like maybe one of 3 bridges that we have to cross the border. But then I realized that there's, they tell me there's 28 more bridges, and, I got to go to all of these bridges and, get to record some of the action. And for this show, I was not a camera operator. I was a drone operator. So I got to really film a lot of the scenes, by air. So a lot of the where you can see the bridges and it's a very scenic view. Those were all shot by me. And I believe I was the only drone operator for the show. Not that I know if there was others, but that was basically my role there. But even then, I got to see a lot of things that what happens on the border as to what comes in and out, and what they have to go through on a daily basis.
It is not easy. It is not easy for many of our public servants that they go to work every single day and they protect our borders. It is not easy. It is not an easy task, and I think you portray that very, very well. And
yes,
that the Border Force, just the name itself, tell us exactly what the show is about, right?
Yes. So the show just follows. I think it just depends per season. They follow a couple of agents on the Border Customs Agency. They follow them for like maybe about a couple of weeks, and they get to sort of interview them on a daily basis, what they go through, how many hours they put in, what exactly do they see. And in the show, you actually see what these people go through on a daily basis, and they don't show as far as like people's faces, they don't show that. They just show the contraband and all the other items that they find people are trying to cross the border with. And it was very interesting for me just to see that sometimes it could be an easy day, and then just a split second it turns into a 24-hour shift where they have to literally be working until they find or break open whatever it is that they're trying to see what they have.
Well, that's something that many of us do not realize, but their life and our life depends on their on their shift, and they work very hard. They invest many hours protecting our borders. Plus, they live in our community. They're part of the community. So, it's something that we take it for granted. We don't know. But, the title Border Force, it's a title that implies that, yes, it happens here in the border, but also, all the people that are behind protecting the border.
Yes, that is correct.
And tell me your because you told me, we were talking before we went on air, and you told me that you watched the whole series, like you watch everything on a weekend. So give us the while you were watching, what was your biggest accomplishment? What was something that you really enjoyed? And if you go back to one episode, which one would it be?
I think what I really, on my time there when I was on the field with these guys, is you really get to put into perspective these bridges. And whenever I was, flying the drone, I would capture these amazing sunsets, these Texas sunsets that everyone in Texas is so fond of, and I really got to see them and enjoy all that time. And it's just really sort of kind of like, implies that, there's like a storm coming or something like that. And that was just what's going through my head. I don't know if I was with them, but I think that was probably the best part of the season, is that every day there was always a beautiful sunset or sunrise. I mean, just depending on what time of the day they made me go work. Sometimes I'd start at 10 p.m. till maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And between those times, things are slowed down, and you really look into all these people's lives and see, man, this is what they go on a daily basis, and I'm over here just barely keeping my eyes open to work. But it just really shows how much they really care for their jobs, and they're protecting us and giving us security as we sleep.
And which one was your favorite episode? I'm sure all of them are your favorite, but the one that got your heart and your mind.
I think it'd probably be the first one. I'm sorry, not the first one. Let's see, episode 10. It was a teenage drug bust, and it was it was really kind of how do I put it? I was sad to see that sometimes these kids they use them. They use these kids to deliver. They put things in their vehicles, and they don't tell them what it is. They just tell them to go right across. And what I noticed is that some of these kids, they were very young, between 15 and maybe 19 years old. They were very young, and they couldn't really do much with them other than just take their contraband and then let him go back. But it's just, sometimes I just see these kids that they're sending, and it's very saddening to know that, they use them like that.
Well, they're mules, right? That's how they're called?
Yes, they are. They're mules.
And, watching our young, the teenagers, those are the weakest link. Like, those are extremely naive, and they have no clue, what are the consequences. But in this show, we were able to see, and now it's raising awareness on how to prevent this type of things.
Yes, no, that is very correct. It's awareness, on all sorts of fronts. As to, I grew up in Laredo, and I never took into consideration what happens at the border, what happens right on the bridge between entering the U.S. from Mexico, and it was just very eye-opening for me to see all these things going on, and me not really knowing about it, or not that knowing about it, just trying to not think about it too much. But when I got a chance to get on the show, I immediately took it. I'm like, yeah, it's my hometown. I'd love to go back and see, how a show is done, and especially about our border. And it was great. It was a great experience. And how I got this job the gig, or I hate to say a project, was a colleague of mine who used to work in the show. And he's also from Laredo, and he called me and he told me, hey, there's a gig opened up by National Geographic. I won't be able to do it because I have already projects aligned, but if you're interested, they're willing to reach out and work with you. And I said, yeah, no, of course, I'm definitely interested and would love to get the chance to work for a big production.
It is a big production. When you mention National Geographic, it's something huge. It's not just a gig. It's something awesome. And working with those professionals, I'm sure you learned a lot.
Oh, yes. No, yeah, they definitely showed me a lot and a lot of the experience.
Well, they have huge like the crew. It's I'm sure it's amazing. Plus, they have so many people on board on that production that that's something that you were not used to, or were you used to that?
No, I wasn't. They definitely had several crews. It's a lot of time to move one crew to the next. So I was in between Laredo and the Valley. So I spent 1 week in Laredo and then 1 week in the Valley. And I got to work with both teams, and they both, have their own skill sets and their job descriptions. And I came in and did my job, but it was real nice to work with professionals like that.
Well, they have their own producers. They have the people, the safety people, and then they have the writers, and there's just so much behind a production like Border Force. Yeah, no, it is, and every day was a hustle and bustle kind of was what they'd say. It's just as soon as you get there to the bridge, just start recording everything, because we are probably going to use everything that you guys are shooting. So between me and the rest of the camera operators, we were just always helping each other out. It's like, okay, let me get out of the shot, or let me help you get the shot, or help me take off my drone, and they're just always keeping an eye out for that. So it was a big team effort. It was great to see that even though I only knew these guys for a week, they had my back, and we all worked together, and we got to enjoy ourselves after. Just go out into the city, get something to eat together. So it was good. It was a good. I'm sure it was awesome. And looking back or watching the whole series in one weekend, the hardest episode, like you saw the episode and you go back and you remember, filming and and being there. Which one was the hardest episode?
Okay, let me see. I would say, I don't know about the hardest episode, but maybe, I think the hardest days for me when I was there working with these guys was the late, working times. So between, the times that I told you between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., those seemed to be the hardest because it was the slowest, and, it was I almost never usually work that late or, work the graveyard shift like that. So, but you see, the thing is that once something, like, you work till maybe 4 a.m., but if something happens between maybe like 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., like they catch somebody with a vehicle or some drugs or something, they're trying to find out what, where they're hiding them. It can extend another maybe 6 to 12 hours. Oof. So you're up there for a long time, just being awake and trying to be aware of what's going on. I'm
sure it is. It's a challenge for many of the officers, and they know that if there's something that happens before their shift ends, they have to stay 8 hours, like you said, or sometimes 12, or it's just
we have to endure whatever they were enduring. So
wow.
If they had to stay, then our producer would be like, "Yep, you guys are staying as well." So go get them a Red Bull or something, because you're gonna be up for a while.
And based on what you saw, is there more things going on at 9 or at night, or more things going on in during the daylight?
No, it's more during the daylight. I think that's when there's more people. When there's more people crossing, and they have every agent working, and trying to be a little sneaky is I guess what I would say. But at night, there's maybe 1 or 2 lanes open, but it's very hard to there wasn't a lot of action going on at night because there was many agents working.
Now I have another question. You mentioned that you were having dinner with all this, all the team, all the Nat Geo production staff and crew. And while you were talking, what were they thinking about our community? Like, what was their input? What was their reflection of the way we live here at the border?
I think when I was talking to them about it is they don't really. Like for me, if I was like from Laredo, I was a native Laredoan, and they would just tell me how it was growing up, and if I saw a lot of dangers and things like that, and I told them no, growing up here was very peaceful, and there wasn't I wouldn't almost never see any of this going on. So Laredo was very peaceful growing up for me. So they kind of just assumed that, if you're living in the border, you're living sort of under constant fear. But I sort of, took that idea off their head. And what they really liked was the community. Everyone was very friendly. They loved the food. They were just always, ready to go eat some good tacos there. Yeah. And, being I was like, yeah, I know where to go. We can go there. So when I was there and showing them all these places, it's just like, oh my God, like, why didn't you tell us about this place, blah, 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 blah. And they just, they enjoyed themselves very well. They were very, very, they were also very friendly and very outgoing as well.
Well, that's something that you were the perfect ambassador for Laredo, and the perfect person to talk to the crew and all the people that came for that production. And I'm sure that they were very happy because they saw the other side. Like they had the opportunity to see, what happens at the bridge and what happens, here in the border. But they also had a taste of who we are in the border. And that's something, it's an enrichment conversation.
Yes, I agree.
And we're going to be talking more, and now we're going to go on a little break, but we're going to be talking more about you and your dream and how you ended up, it was because of a friend of yours, but you had to be ready. You had to be that person that they were looking for. So that's what we're going to talk about when we come back, ¿okay? Queridos Radio Escuchas, no se vayan. Estamos en una conversación padrísima con Eric Basurto, que es uno de los jóvenes pero con más futuro en el área de la producción de video, y pues su su episodio, la temporada de Border Force es sobre nuestra frontera, sobre lo que vivimos diariamente, y bueno, él es el lente que pone todo sobre la pantalla. No se vayan, tenemos mucha más información sobre Eric Basurto, sobre Border Force y sobre los sueños que se cumplen. Yo soy Ana Cristina Martínez, ustedes están sintonizando XHGTS y esto es Pasos de Éxito.
Vamos a un corte y regresamos con más de Pasos de Éxito. Bienvenidos a Pasos de Éxito con Ana Cristina Martínez.
Muy buenos días a todos nuestros queridos radioescuchas. Ustedes están sintonizando esta mañana XHGTS. Mi nombre es Ana Cristina Martínez y ustedes están escuchando Pasos de Éxito. Pues Pasos de Éxito es un programa que ya tenemos 5 años al aire. Es un programa que nos hemos enfocado en la educación, nos hemos enfocado en la cultura, nos hemos enfocado en escritores, nos hemos enfocado en pintores, en fotógrafos, y bueno, el día de hoy estamos enfocados con un joven talento de nuestra comunidad, que en mi caso es muy especial porque pues yo lo vi desde chiquito, lo quiero como si fuera mío, ¿verdad? Porque es mi sobrino. Y pues Eric Basurto es un joven talento que hoy en día está incursionando en el área de todo lo que es la cinematografía, y en especial en uno de sus trabajos más importantes hasta hoy, que es con National Geographic y con Hulu, la serie de Border Force. Y bueno, pues esta mañana yo lo quiero dedicar a esos jóvenes que están estudiando, que están en la escuela, que están en el high school, que tienen un sueño, ¿sí? Y tienen que pensar en cómo se van a preparar, cómo van a ir ustedes armando sus piezas para cuando llegue el momento, así como Eric, que le llegó el momento que un amigo le habla y le dice, yo no puedo tomar la oportunidad de que National Geographic me está ofreciendo, pero pensé en ti. ¿Y saben por qué pensó en él? Porque estaba listo, porque es un joven dedicado, un joven apasionado, un joven inteligente, un joven que sabe cómo, ¿sí?, dar el resultado que están pidiendo. Así que por eso esta mañana tenemos en el programa a mi queridísimo Eric Basurto. Muy buenos días, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, very happy to have you here with us. And our first segment, we talked about the series Border Force that it's airing in Hulu and National Geographic. And if you can explain to everyone, how can they see or how can they watch the series?
So they can watch the series, which right now is the only way that some people have told me that they can watch it, is to go to the National Geographic.com website and search for Border Force USA. Then you will have the 2 seasons come out, and then when you click on an episode, it will prompt you to, it looks like it's a TV provider. Yeah, so you get a TV provider, and then you can watch the show right then and there. That's I'm trying to figure out how to do it at Hulu Live TV, but a lot of people have been telling me that they've had little complications. But that's right now the only way that you can see them, even online.
It is awesome because, being part of, just saying National Geographic, it puts you on a different level. It puts you, in a place that is very special, that is privileged, and also that, you're working with the best of the best. And that's something that only someone that is smart, that is dedicated, passionate, has the opportunity. What gave you the opportunity to be part of this production?
What the opportunity that was presented to me was through a colleague of mine. We worked together in the previous production company in San Antonio, where we were working with sports channels like the Spurs, Dallas Cowboys, Texas Rangers, and other TV shows there. But it was through there that he had gotten the job, and last summer, he called me and told me that there was a National Geographic job available if I wanted to take it, and I immediately told him yes, I can do it. I didn't even know the details, or how many hours or days I'd be working. I just said yes, I'll do it to get some exposure and see how it is to work with a professional production like National Geographic. And the experience was great. It was very eye-opening, and I got to see how much time is put into these productions.
Well, it's a road, okay? It's a road, and you started, you started paving your road. And let's go back 10 years ago when you were in high school.
Okay.
When you were in high school, okay? Tell us exactly what you did in high school to get you ready for what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so in high school, I went to right after I graduated, I went to TAMU. I did 2 years to do my basics and finish all my beginning courses. And that's when, I think at the second year, which I was a sophomore, I was really thinking about my future and really thinking what I wanted to do. And just, always just growing up, I have always admired, movie productions and television. And when I was in high school, or, there at the end of my sophomore year in college, I really wanted to, make movie trailers. That's really what I wanted to learn and see how it is done. So I looked up some schools, and the closest school that I was able to get to was in San Antonio, and it was an art institute. And the art institute, I got my bachelor's in visual effects and motion graphics. And right after college, or when I graduated, I was hired immediately by a production studio there in San Antonio. Working there was very. I gained a lot of experience. That's where I learned how to fly a drone, and I was doing. I was a multimedia artist. So basically means that I had to, pick up the camera, edit, do some photography. I did almost, everything. It was a one-man show there, and it was great. I got to learn a little bit of how to do everything, and that's when I decided to move on, and then I got a job with the San Antonio Spurs, and it was great working there. I got to see, work with the players and get to see how that production went. And then,
wow, you were very lucky. That was a dream job for many guys.
Yeah, no, it was. I was getting told about that.
Yeah,
and it was just through sheer, I would always get it was all these, I feel like I've been very blessed to say that, most of my jobs that I've gotten have been through referrals, and it's always just been through good referrals from colleagues of mine that, you need an editor, or you need a drone operator. I know the perfect guy, and they always recommend me. And, I think it was those first couple of years when I was really putting a lot of work in. I didn't complain. I was getting a lot. What I was gaining was experience, and that's really what I wanted. I wanted to see how everything worked, and how many hours it took. Sometimes I put in easily between 12 and 15 hours a day, and a lot of people would be like, "No, you're working too much. You're working." And it's just, it was the beginning of stages for me. It's from what my uncle told me. He'd always be like, "You have to pay your dues. You have to, put in your work." And that's what was always going through my head in the beginning of my career. And then, so after the Spurs, I went to go work for a bigger production studio in San Antonio. And through them, I got to work with the Spurs still, the Dallas Cowboys, Texas Rangers. It was very sports affiliated. And there was a couple of TV Food Network shows that, I got to do as well. I was a food photographer for them. And then I got a great opportunity to interview Eugenio Derbez, which,
wow,
for me, growing up, my family we'd all watch his show, Familia Peluche. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, so, from that, I definitely got that experience to interview him, and he was a great guy. He was very friendly, very funny. And so, working there a couple of times, for a couple of years, working at the production studio for a couple of years, after that, I decided to finally venture out on my own and start making a name for myself. So I made my own production studio here in Austin, and I've been here ever since the beginning of 2018. So it's going to be almost a year and a half that I've been here. It's been a year and a half that I've been here. And I've gotten lots of opportunities to work with with many other productions.
Wow. Well, behind that resume that you just gave me, behind that, it's a person, it's a man with very strong work ethic, your education, that you're passionate, and that's why you do things very well. And that's something that it's of course, it's a talent that you have. It's something that it was learned, but you also have that same work ethic from your family. Your father is a strong, very smart, very strong, visionary, and a person that, came to Laredo and developed a program that only him has it throughout the border. And your mother, very dedicated. And of course, the love of my life, my grandmother, because you spent, your first years living with her, and you have that thing that she taught us how to, be responsible, work hard, dedicate yourself to what you love, and always look at the sky. Because that's where heaven is. And that's what she will tell me. I'm sure she said the same to you.
No, yes, I remember her stories, and I think it was because of her as well as along with my parents, that they always, told me to strive for greatness and to, pay your dues. Work a little bit, work to the bone in your 20s. That way, when you're in your 30s, you can plant your seed, and you'll definitely profit from that.
Well, because I got emotional, okay? Just thinking about that opportunity that you had, spending the first years of your life with our grandmother, because it's also my grandmother. It's something that only a few has the opportunity. And now you have developed everything that she put it in you, because she will adore you, and she will say, "Oh, mi general," because she knew exactly that you were raised for greatness, and you were someone very special to her, and someone that it was gonna change the way we look at things, and you're changing the way we look at things. That's awesome. That's incredible. And I truly believe that behind a great man there is a village. There is a group of very determined people that will give you that force to move on, to move forward, to step ahead, and that's what I see in you. That's what I see, and that's what my grandmother saw when you were little. She saw greatness. That's why she will call you my general. See?
Yeah. No, yeah, of course. If only she could see me now. I mean, I'd be so happy.
Oh, she can watch you. I'm sure she's there, and she's probably giving you a lot of advice from wherever she is, because you know how she was. She was very determined. Y me vas a hacer esto, y vas a hacer el otro, y tienes que, y no se te olvide, y usted salude y respete. It was such a great way to learn about life. And you had that opportunity when you were very young.
Yes, that's correct.
And what do you remember? What do you remember? And now that every time you do a deal, or every time you are in a place that like right now, because you are with National Geographic, you're doing something awesome. What do you remember from where you were little?
Let me think about that. I think from every time I'm taking that next step in my career and the next project, I'm always, I'm writing down everything that I've done, as I go on in my career. And, every time I think about it and where I'm going, it's just, things that, my grandma would tell me, and along with my, how my dad raised me, and my uncles, they would always, encourage me to hey, you got to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues. That's something that stuck to me when I was, working in my 20s. I'm 29. I'm going to be 30 in in September, and I can, I'm glad to see that I can look back and say that, you know what, like, I've paid my dues. I've worked to where I need to be, and if I continue this, who knows where I'll be in 10 years? Maybe I'll have a big production studio here in Austin. So we'll see. I mean, it's really all I can dream for.
Well, you will, and you're turning 30, and you already have accomplished so much, and this is the beginning, because many people, that's how you start when they ask you, have you done everything that you wanted to do? And that question just, it's like putting some tornado inside your head. Like, no, I still have a lot of things to do. So what is next for you?
What is next for me is, I think what's next for me is just, I will continue working in Austin, through my name right now. And like how I said, like a year and a half ago, and if somebody told me, hey, you're going to get to work with National Geographic, that's not something somebody told me when I started my own business. So, just from that experience there, I can just say that whatever is coming my way, I know it's going to be the next big thing,
It is, and based on your work ethic, based on what you showcase on Border Force, now you're out there. Your name is out there, and very, very soon you're gonna start getting calls from major motion pictures, and you never. Yes, that's how I see it. That's how I see it. Because
that's how I see it too.
And
that's how I see it.
We have very extremely talented people from our community, like Alfonso Gomez Rejon. Just call him, let him know, hey, I'm from Laredo, and he's already doing movies at Hollywood. Hey, you never know. Just give him a call. And also, there's so many. Well, all your friends from National Geographic. Next step will be something else, and you never know. But one more question I want to ask you about, your education. Did that give you the tools? Did that, your education gave you the background, like the not the pavement, but the base, to start with what you're doing right now?
Yes, I'd have to say yes. I did. They when I was there in school, they teach you everything from the programs to the kind of like the theory behind it too. It's not just cutting clips and putting things together. You have to. There's always like with one of my professors, I remember they're always telling me like, there's got to be a reason to why you're doing that. You got to sort of follow like a formula. But yes, I felt like I was ready, and at least it got me through the door is what I think, because a lot of these productions right now, they don't have time for you to learn something. They want you to learn it so that way they can already put you to work and get some results.
Oh yeah, that's how everything is right now. It's a different pace. It's a different pace, and you have to be ready. Like, get trained, learn, and then be ready for that moment when they call you. You must be ready.
Yes, you have to. So every day I'm always, looking at what's the next big thing. What's especially after this pandemic right now, it's with the whole industry right now, it's just kind of like up in the air right now as to what's going to go happen because of the pandemic. Almost all the productions around the world were stopped. They came to a complete halt, and there's been lots and lots people on podcasts talking about what's the next for the industry and how's it going to reset after this. I'm sure a lot of productions have already gone under because that's just money that was thrown away.
Well, somehow we're gonna be out of this very soon, and they'll retake whatever their projects were. But right now, can you invite all our audience to watch the series Border Force? Please tell everybody watch our series and where to find it.
Okay, in English or Spanish?
en español.
En español. Entonces, si quieren ver la serie de Border Force USA, la mejor, de cómo verlo, tiene que ir al nationalgeographic.com y poner en el buscar Border Force. Entonces te va a salir la serie y todos los episodios, y cuando le escoges uno va a salir y te va a preguntar cómo quieres ver la serie. Y así es como pueden ver la serie de Border Force.
Pues muchísimas gracias. Se nos pasó el tiempo bien rápido, Eric, se nos pasó volando. Sí. Y como puedes escuchar, ¿verdad? Yo me quedo con el orgullo de que eres un joven de Laredo preparado para el éxito, y me quedo también con esa visión que tienes desde el cielo hacia abajo de los drones, ¿sí? Así me quedo yo viendo cómo tú has captado esas imágenes que tenemos todos de nuestra ciudad, todos de nuestra comunidad, pero tú en especialmente lo hiciste en la cámara. Muchísimas gracias, Eric.
Muchísimas gracias, Cristina, por invitarme.
No, encantada. Eres un adorado, y verdaderamente como te vi desde chiquito, ¿verdad? Y bueno, pues tú, el general, pues así sigues. Tu forma de visión y la tienes muy clara, y pues nosotros verdaderamente somos unos espectadores de tu éxito. Muchas gracias, y bueno, seguiremos en contacto, Eric. Cualquier cosa, por favor, repórtanos directamente a Pasos de Éxito.
Sí, claro. Super.
Pues muchísimas gracias a todos nuestros radioescuchas, gracias a Eric Basurto por haber sido parte de este episodio, por haber sido parte de este programa, que verdaderamente en un momento fue bastante emocional, porque él es un joven que es parte de mi familia, un joven que tiene el talento y es esa imagen de lo que es un joven exitoso hoy en día. Muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes por haber sintonizado XHGTS. Eric, ¿te quieres despedir?
Sí, muchas gracias a todos por escuchar, y a la próxima.
Hasta la próxima, mi querido Eric Basurto. Pues muchísimas gracias a todos nuestros radioescuchas, y bueno, pues ustedes sintonizaron el día de hoy Pasos de Éxito. Mi nombre es Ana Cristina Martínez, y recuerden sintonizarnos todos los sábados a las 10 de la mañana por XHGTS 107.3.
Esto fue Pasos de Éxito con Ana Cristina Martínez. No te lo pierdas. Todos los sábados encuentra todos los programas pasados en el canal de YouTube Pasos de Éxito, y búscanos en Facebook. Dale like a la página.